First of all, you have to go back and understand certain concepts, at least in my view, certain concepts of life. Remember what I said about in life, everybody, it's kind of like to each his own. That's the first rule of life. And I don't care what people say. I don't care how much love somebody say they have for me. When push comes to shove, they are going to save themselves first before they save me. When push comes to shove, and I always tell people this, I say, look, you gotta be careful. Each time you ask somebody for advice, remember that the first thing that will go on in that person's mind is, if I give you this advice, will it jeopardize me? Yes, that's just because, look, no matter how much I love you, if you are asking me for an advice and I go through the process in my mind, this advice will jeopardize me, I'm not going to give it to you. It's natural. It's just a natural thing. So that's the number one thing that we all have to understand, that everybody will look out for themselves first before they look out for other people. Now, after that, we have to also understand the concept of the world. It doesn't matter what the world tells you. The fact is, resources are very limited, but the needs of various countries and various citizens are way more than the resources. Therefore, there has to be a struggle, always, even if it's a Cold War struggle, even if you call it an unspoken struggle, to grab as much as you can, not only for what you need today, but to keep for what you will need 100 years to come. Think of it as a market where you and I, we are selling books, okay? And there are like, let's say, 10 of us selling books, but there are only 5 customers. What do you think we will be doing? If you come to me and say for me to give you my secret for selling books, I will not give you. If I were going to give you, I'll give you something that will probably not work for you. To me, that's how countries behave to each other. That is how countries behave. And I always tell my fellow Africans, I said, look, we got to have that concept of Africans for Africa. Until we start to look at it that way, we will never succeed. We will never upgrade our people. Because always thinking that, oh, if push comes to shove, we can ask Britain to help us, or we can ask America. I've seen sometimes where there are let's say now, some government is abusing their people in Africa, and people are writing on Facebook, oh, where is America and this is happening? I'm like, America is where it is. America doesn't care about that. Yes.
Why should it?
America, and you know why America doesn't care? Because of what I said. There are limited resources and very many demands. Therefore, if the particular thing you are complaining about has no bearing on the resources that America wants, America will never put itself, because they don't have all the time or all the resources to fight every war, and really they don't have the incentive. Why would they come and fight for you when they have their own problems? You see, so let's put it in context. These old laws, let's take the Zimbabwe scenario, for instance. When Britain got there, when the Dutch and all those people got there, they made laws to suit themselves. They made laws, they made the laws not only to care for their interests and for their needs as of today, but to care for their interests and their needs for 100 years to come, for 200, forever to come. You see what I'm saying? So, and you know, good or bad, I don't know. Sometimes people say, they are evil for doing it. But I always tell people, I say, if you were Britain, you would do the same thing. Let's face it. It's just a natural thing. Now, when we understand that, look, what they did is a natural thing, it's now left for us to do the other natural thing. The other natural thing is look out for ourselves. They are not going to like it. Yeah, the British people will not like it. Britain will not like it. In fact, the entire world may not even like it. But it is what it is. You have to look out for yourself. It's only after you've looked out for yourself, then you can then begin to say, okay, let me see what I can do for Britain. Let me see what I can do for America. So I think that to remedy the situation is really to do the same thing that Mugabe did. Look out for your people. Unfortunately, his people, some of his people and some Africans did not really understand what he was trying to do. And they turned against him. That's number one. But number two, you also have to understand that it's not that, it may not be that some of his people and some Africans did not really understand it. It may also be that there are certain forces that didn't want them to understand it and wanted them to reject it. And they failed to see that those forces were not working in their favor. And those forces, just like what I said about, you come to me and ask me for advice, and I figure out the advice will be against me. I'm not going to give you the right advice. So that's what our people fail to see sometimes. And our people also, just like you remember the late fella Anikulapo Kuti, God bless his soul, say that our people too, they fear. Our people too, they fear. Nobody wants to suffer today for the glories of tomorrow. You tell them that, oh, if we take this action, we probably may not eat 3 times a day for the next 100 days or something. They'd be like, wow, let's not take the action. That's part of, I think that's part of the problem. Our people too, they fear.
Anyway, I think what you are actually saying now is that we should live up to our responsibility as a people. Because the idea, I understand perfectly. In 2010, I wrote a book that I called Underdevelopment in Africa, My Hands Are Clean. Because I think that is how many Africans look at the issue, that, we are innocent. The Europeans came to Africa, they took away the people, we are innocent, we didn't do anything about it. There is corruption in Africa, the Europeans come and they do whatever they like, you can't hold them accountable. Well, I am innocent, I don't have the power. But the point is that if we continue to remain like that, it will always hurt us. We will always remain like babies, like children. You see, you were saying something very important shortly, no? That the US, maybe for example, something is going on in Nigeria, then the people of Nigeria are writing, where is the United States? Why should the United States go and intervene in, don't you have a government? Why should is it the role of the United States to intervene in Nigeria? Okay, now, I was asking a question when I was doing some of this interview with some people. In the case of the COVID-19 outbreak in Italy, for example, not only in Italy, in the whole of the world, but it was also harsh here in Italy. Then I was saying, say, for example, the case was reversed, that it was very harsh in Africa. Will the African government not be shouting, hey, help us, we are dying, we are dying?
Exactly.
I said, now that this problem is in Europe, what is the Nigerian government going to do? What is the South African government going to do? Because we forget that this is a level playing field. You are a government, you are a president of a country, I am a president of a country. You have army, I have army. Why should I use my army to be protecting you?
I don't know. I don't know.
To pretend that we are children. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think that you hit some important points. One is that perhaps either our government or our people don't necessarily understand the concept of sovereignty, or they understand it but just chose to ignore the consequences and implications of being a sovereignty. That's number one. The other important point you made has to do with accepting responsibility. And that is something that I see that I think is really, if you really want to ask why is Africa the way it is today, I think you have to start with, we have chosen to abdicate our individual responsibility.